Hello, everyone, and welcome to Erupt. I am one of your hosts, Ashley Dior Jones, and you guys, I am so excited about the show today. I know I say that a lot, but I'm really excited about this show today because of the amazing, incredible artists that I'm chatting with. So, being one of the youngest winners of The Voice was just the beginning for this amazing country singer, songwriter, and star, Danielle Bradbery, especially since her latest single, Stop Dragging Your Boots, is my new favorite song, and it's just an anthem for the ages. Please welcome the beautiful and talented Danielle Bradbery. Danielle, how
Hi.
are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for being here. It feels so nice to just be able to talk to someone who's like in my hometown
I
and like
know.
experiencing life in Nashville that I miss so much. So I'm just so excited about our chat today. And I'm so excited about your new song. So I mean,
Oh,
I love it so much. Like when I first started hearing it, I listened to it over and over and over again. And the lyrics really stuck out to me. So you say you want me, and then you don't. One day you're whiskey hot, then you're beer cold. Sometimes you're in, sometimes you're out. Sometimes a girl's got to put her foot down. Stop dragging your
yeah.
boots. I mean, girl, you sing it so sweet and so beautifully. I just love it so much. I love listening to you because your voice is just it's so soothing and it's calming and it's just a lovely voice. When did you realize that you could sing, or when did you realize that you could sing? Like, when did you
Um,
know?
well, first of all, thank you. I never really had like a aha moment. I just knew I loved to sing. I enjoyed it a lot. And I had been singing since as long as I can remember. I know my mom said that I would sing in the back seat of the car, and then my dad would sneak in little recorders of me singing like Britney Spears or like Christmas songs or anything. And I don't know, I just love to sing. And around like middle school, which I think is an awkward time for a lot of kids, is
Mhm.
when the shyness decided to come into play.
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
yeah, but
Right in the nick of time.
I know, right?
So, fast forward to when you were like 15, 16 years old, right? And your mom secretly signed you up for The Voice.
Yeah.
What was that experience like? Like, were you mad? Were you happy? Were you excited? And how did you get over stage fright? Like, I know that's something that you suffered with. And then like one day you're just singing to yourself, not even singing to your family and friends. And then the
Mhm.
next day you're on The Voice. Like, what was that experience like? How did you do it?
So I was honestly a little bit upset that my mom signed me up, not because, I wasn't, it's not like I was ungrateful because I was. And especially now, I'm like, oh my God, thank you. But at the time, just that shyness and that fear came over me. And I was just more scared than anything. And that's where the me being upset came from. And I was just like, Mom, I don't know how I'm going to do this. We watched The Voice a lot, and I knew I loved Blake Shelton, and
Mhm.
just it was a natural thing. But I never really was like, I'm gonna go on the show. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. It was just something I loved to watch, and I would just kind of imagine myself up there, and then I would go in my room and sing up there. Um, and then my mom signed me up, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I started crying just because I was scared. I was like,
Of
how am I
course.
gonna do this? And time went on, and we sure enough went and just kept going from there. And it wasn't the easiest. I mean, I had my moments of being, nervous and everything, but I did it. And I don't know what it is. Something
Yeah.
just came over me every time I would sing in front of these people. And then once I stepped on the actual stage, I just became, it's like the Beyonce thing. I
Yeah.
became a Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, they say that's absolutely a thing. And
Yeah.
but I mean, for you to conquer your fear to, pursue a passion that means so much to you, just I mean, that takes a lot of guts. That takes a lot of guts, especially for a teenager. right? So we
Yeah.
applaud you and we thank you for
Thanks.
making your way up to that stage. Now, talking about The Voice and talking about Blake Shelton, who is, of course, your coach that got you to win The Voice, he
Mhm.
said something that was so interesting in an interview a couple weeks ago, and I want to share it with you. You haven't heard it, right? You don't know what he said?
No.
Okay, so this is an exclusive. So Blake Shelton said of The Voice, he said, quote, the artist that I look back on that is probably my favorite person too. And I say this knowing that I'm going to hear a lot of crap about it from them all. But my favorite, I think, as far as the entire journey goes, is Danielle Bradbery. End
Wow.
quote. He said that about you. Out of all of the seasons, out of all of the contestants, you were his favorite. How does that make you feel?
I It kind of makes me speechless, honestly.
Did you
um
have a good connection with Blake?
yeah, I mean, he's what you see is what you get. And a lot of people ask me, like, how is he in person? Is he really as funny as he is and as nice? And he really is. And he took care of like his team. And me being so young and being shy and just a little bashful, he is the total opposite of that. And so he kind of took me under his wing and just made it a priority to make me feel comfortable on stage, and whatever I was singing, he'd make me feel comfortable with that. And he was a dad, if not big brother figure. And just, he was such a good friend and person to have around. And he was just always cracking jokes, making the tension just go away. And it was a lot of fun, having that experience with him and me just being so fresh to everything. It couldn't have been, the right fit. And I still think of to this day. And the fact that he said that, that means the world to me, because, that was such an experience for me that I will obviously never, ever, ever forget and take for
Right.
granted. So, yeah.
Right. I just saw that and I was like, that is just so lovely.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'm
so
so
nice.
excited. Isn't that so nice? I just thought it was
Yeah.
the sweetest thing. And so as I was going through kind of your catalog of songs, I really fell in love with your song Girls in My Hometown. I
Oh,
really fell in love with this song because I related to it because I'm a girl who moved
mhm.
away from Nashville, my hometown, to,
Yeah.
chase my dreams. So when I heard it, I was like, oh my goodness, I know exactly what that feels like because I wonder if they're happy. I wonder if they're getting married. I wonder if they're making their dad proud. Like all of those lyrics really, I really related to it and it meant something to me. So you were raised in Cypress, Texas, right? That's where you're from.
Yeah.
Or like, okay. So what do you miss most about home and your life before you became this huge star?
Yeah. I miss a lot about home. I'm personally just such a homebody, and I am very proud of where I come from. And my whole family's still back in Texas, so I try to go back there as much as possible. And but yeah, it was such a big football, and like reminded me of like Friday Night Lights energy, and just we looked forward to the football games and the baseball games. And it was just one of those Texas towns. It was big but small.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just the feel of that. And my school years and college stuff was cut very short because of The Voice. But I what I had to experience was something I'll always cherish. And yeah, when I heard that song, I'm like, oh my! It made me emotional, because even if we go about our days and don't really think about it all the time, or don't really talk to people back home, it's still something. When you listen to something like that, you're like, oh, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
wonder how that person's doing. Even for guys, like, man, I played, football with that guy. Or,
Right.
I wonder if that girl I dated, how she's doing, if
Of
she's
course.
married now. And, it's just like,
Yeah.
I look at songs like that. I look at from every angle, and just, yeah, that song holds a very special place in my heart. And so proud of, my hometown. And yeah, and my best friend got married, and it's just so weird.
Just we're
Yeah.
all just growing up,
Oh,
right?
growing up. Yeah.
Do you how do you feel about like did you go to your school prom? Like did you do any of that like high school Americana stuff?
So I did homecoming, I
Which is
didn't
huge. Homecoming is
Yeah, which
huge.
is big. Yeah.
Hmm.
And but I didn't make it to prom. My prom was The Voice. But I did homecoming. I did some of those, those memorable moments.
Hmm.
And I got to wear the moms and walk
Yeah.
around the school with my
Yeah.
thing and got to make it for the guy I was dating at the time. And
Ah,
it was like a cute little love.
the best times. Okay, good,
Yeah.
good. I was really curious if you were able to experience, some of those really important and impactful,
Yeah.
high school circumstances. But I mean, you were out being a star, so the fact that you got to do a little bit of both is really cool, I must say.
Yeah.
Now, you won The Voice at 16, right? Was it 15 or
Mhm.
16? And
16.
16, and you're 25 now. Happy belated birthday, my
Thank-
Leo sister. What was it? What has it been like growing up in the public eye for you? I mean, yeah, what is that transition like?
Yeah. It's it's definitely it's has its ups and downs. And I won't even sugarcoat it. There's definitely moments in there, and I'm such an honest person, and that's how I want me as an artist to come off as. And
Hmm.
you know, I've had my moments, and
Hmm.
being starting out at 16, and you see the way bigger artists like Justin Bieber and everybody that has started in the industry so young. I mean, you run into things that are, that can get deep. And
Things that
I
can get deep. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, no, just it's a lot. It's a lot to take in at such a young age, and
Hmm.
I'm still young, and I've learned so much so quickly. I feel like I grew up very very fast,
Hmm.
and sometimes that's mentally that can be a lot and overwhelming and a little bit exhausting, which is a natural feeling, and
Hmm.
it's okay to feel that way. I think, and um, there's moments where in between albums, it would have been going, 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 and I'm like, okay, maybe this little pause in between albums is what is meant to be right now, because I think if I would have kept going, going, it would have really maybe hurt me in the long run, mentally. So yeah, there are things that I'm very thankful that had happened, and it's been a journey, and I've
Yeah.
learned so much about myself, and now, and I didn't back then, but I started therapy not long ago, and it's been one of the best things I could have ever done. So, and I want everyone to try it out. So, yeah, it's been a crazy journey, and good, bad. I mean, everything in between.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What would you tell like a young star coming up the ranks who was, kind of like you, has these big dreams and an amazing
Yeah.
voice? What would you tell her or him in pursuing
Um,
dreams?
I would definitely tell them just take it one day at a time. It can feel very fast. It's a very fast lifestyle if you really think about it. Just take it one day at a time. Take time for yourself. Take care of yourself in the best way you can. And then don't let people, stray you away from who you really are, because I feel like this industry can get a little burying,
Hmm.
if I could say it that way, and maybe you do things that aren't really true to who you are, and you're like, okay, well, I'll do this, maybe it'll help me to that next step, and you can kind of get lost if you keep doing it that way. And I've had little moments here and there that I've found myself a little lost, and I'm like, okay, I need to take time for myself and learn who Danielle Bradbery is, and really highlight that and really dig deep into that, so I can show the world and show people, okay, this is who I am, and this is my liking, and this is what I want to show you from me and to my core. So, yeah, I would tell them just to be true to you, and try not to get lost in that.
I think that's so interesting because, that's the reason we love artists like you, is because you are so honest and you are so authentic, and the music really shows that. When I'm listening to your songs, I know that like you mean it, And I
Yeah.
know that it's honest and authentic, and I think that makes the connection between the artist, and the audience just that much stronger. So, I
Yeah.
think you're definitely doing something right. That's for sure.
You.
Um, what was the pandemic like for you? I mean, for an artist, like how are you affected? How was your creativity affected? Like what has this past 18 months been like for you?
Um, it has talk about a roller coaster. And I feel like I'm not the only one. It was a little bit tough for me on the creative motivation side.
Hmm.
And yeah, it just, it's a weird time. And some people could really dive into their creativity and really get motivated. And, and the other side of it had a really hard time. And I think I was more on the having a little bit of a hard time. But, you know, back to the whole taking time for yourself, I dug deep into that again. And it was a time to really just kind of sit back and take a breather, honestly, if you think of the positives in it. And that's kind of what I did and what I dove into. And just, we tried not to stop working and obviously in a safe way, but tried to just still brainstorm about things and try to be creative, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we just continued to work with our head down and safely, of course, and anything we were able to do. And I had days where I'm like, I could not write a song right now. I am just not feeling it at all.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and then other days I'm like, okay, I feel refreshed and I could do this. And yeah, it was different
It was
every other
different.
day.
Yeah, it was different. I read somewhere that your mom actually did your hair and makeup for one of the videos that you shot during the pandemic. Like, tell us about that.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
So I released a song just right in the heat of everything, and right in the start of everything. So it was, we couldn't just be like, okay, we can't move on with this. We kind of had to finish what we started, type of thing. And so we released a song, and I was in Texas with everybody, just kind of quarantining there. And closest to us was Austin, which was about a 3 hour drive. And Austin is beautiful. And I grew up going there all the time. We have family friends. And we were like, okay, how do we do a music video right now? And so we contacted the closest director in Austin, and we we went with him, and he didn't have his usual crew. It was a smaller environment, which was totally fine. And obviously we couldn't fly a makeup artist or have a makeup artist with us. So yeah, my mom is a hairdresser and she can do all of this stuff. And so we just kind of tag team together. I did my makeup and she did my hair for the music video. So my mom was my glam girl, which was
Ah,
pretty awesome.
how fun, right? That's all I
Yeah.
want in life is for my mom to be my glam girl. I mean, I read that story and I was just like, how fun. Like that seems like the
Yeah.
perfect, like, you know, the quarantine and the pandemic, it had a lot of downs, but it definitely had some ups too. So I just thought
Yeah.
that was just the coolest, sweetest little story. Now,
Yeah.
now back to your new single, Stop Dragging Your Boots. I mean, we've all dated those wishy-washy guys who,
Hmm.
don't know if they want situationships or real relationships. But I saw on your Instagram page that you are dating this incredible superhero man named Bennett that you actually reached out to on Instagram. Is that true? Did you make the
Yes,
first move?
I
Girl.
did. I made the first move. And that's something that, if you know me close in my family, that I am super shy when it comes to guys. I mean, I've always been like that. And I I've never done that in my life. And
Wow.
so it was, one of my best friends is a lot more confident in that area than I am. And so she just she encouraged me, and she was sitting right next to me and helped me type the message out. And I was like, Lacey, are you
Stop.
sure? And she goes, I'm about to press send for you. And I think she did. So I needed a little push. But Yeah, I reached out to him first, and I mean, it went great, obviously.
It went great, obviously. So you guys have been together, what, over 2 years now?
Yeah, a little over 2 years.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And I have to admit, I was stalking Bennett's Instagram page because, I mean, he's lovely. He's a beautiful man, but he's also a
Yeah.
superhero. So he
Yeah.
rescued kids from a frozen lake in 2017. Like,
Yeah.
what? How did that, how did this happen? Like,
I
tell me
know. So when
everything.
I first was kind of getting a feel for the guy, and before I obviously went in to message him, I was doing the same thing. I was scrolling through, kind of seeing what he's about, and um, I came across that as well. And there's like a whole YouTube Red Cross thing on it, and I did some major. It's kind of funny now that I talk about it, but I watched it, and yeah, he was living in New York at the time because he was modeling and doing some acting, and he was there for about 2 years, and he skateboards, and him and his buddy were going to skateboard in Central Park one day, and super cold, obviously that little lake was frozen over, and about 7 kids with like backpacks on and a bunch of baggy clothes were out on the ice trying to take a selfie, and the ice wasn't thick enough, and they all just fell through, and everybody else around was videoing. They weren't doing anything, and the kids were obviously freaking out. The big backpacks and everything, they were just, they were freaking out, pulling each other down, and he took action, and he found like this ladder and went in and was pulling the kids out, and he was even being drug under, and just this whole crazy moment, and he completely took action with the whole thing. All 7 kids, he got them out. Some of them were pretty sick from it being so cold, but he got them all out.
Wow.
I
Wow.
know. I know.
Superhero. Well, thank you, Bennett, for
I
everything that
know.
you have done. And it's so nice that, you met someone who seems to be just so incredible and so fun. Like what do you want the future to look like? Like are you wanting to have like kids and a family and to get married like in the future? Like what does the next decade, look like for you?
Yeah, I think I'm at an age where I still want to just experience life and have fun, especially in a relationship. Just have fun as much as we can. But I definitely see myself married and eventually having kids. I am not against any of that, and so hopefully, we're headed down that road eventually. But yeah, we're just enjoying life and just enjoying this journey that I'm on and the opportunities that I get to have, and him too. So yeah, so we're just
Yeah.
having fun right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's all about the fun, all about the fun. So
Yeah.
are you still like writing? Are we expecting, more songs and, tell us about, your future as far as music goes.
Yeah, I am definitely continuing to write. I've done both. I've written and I've listened to outside songs that have been pitched to me, which have been honestly majority of the songs that I've been recording, including "Stop Dragging Your Boots." And what a great thing about listening to outside songs like that you didn't write is you have to kind of approach it at such a different creativity level, because you're like, okay, well, I didn't write this, it's not my
Hmm.
story, but I have to make it my story, and I have to kind of become one with the song and make it me. So it's a whole different fun type of process that I really enjoy, other than writing. And so yeah, we have 2 more songs that we recorded. Hopefully, we're like hoping for like September, somewhere around
Yes, new
there.
music.
Yeah, so we're definitely headed in the direction of new music, and slowly but surely recording more and more songs, and I'm really excited for this next chapter.
Oh, I'm really excited too, Danielle, for this next chapter. It's going to be amazing. Now, everyone who's watching, if you guys have not seen Danielle's new video on Vivo or YouTube, Stop Dragging Your Boots, you are missing out. I mean, this woman looks absolutely incredible. She's got some dance moves. She's got some really nice cowboy hats.
Yes.
And like it's a really cool vibe. So like I said, I'm just such a big fan of yours. I'm such a big fan of this song. And just thank you so much for coming on the platform and talking to us. How can we continue to follow you? How can we continue to buy your music, download your music? Tell us everything.
No, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and it was fun talking to you. Yeah, you can find me anywhere. Instagram, which is Danielle Bradbery, Twitter, D Bradbery. I'm on TikTok now. I'm trying to get the hang of that.
Hey.
Um, TikTok,
I also really like your stairwell sessions on your Instagram
yeah.
page. Those are so fun. Like your voice is just
Thank
top
you.
tier. Okay, I'm sorry, I digress.
No, you're good. Hopefully, we'll get more stairwell sessions back soon. But yeah, you can find me on Facebook, anywhere, YouTube, Vivo, Apple Music, Spotify, anywhere you can find music. And then I'm on all social media platforms, so it's all there.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time, Danielle. This has been incredible. And, we can't wait to continue to stream Stop Dragging Your Boots, our new anthem. And, we are so excited about new music to come. So thank you again. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day in Nashville. I know it's hot, but I'm sure it's
Thank
beautiful.
you. Yeah, you too. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for watching. This is Ashley Dior Jones on Erupt. Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye.